Hello, class. Welcome to week 3 of our class. Let's take a minute and look at what's going on for this week. I want to give you the overview and tell you the point of why we're doing these particular assignments together. So, our goal for this week is to learn a little bit more about personal writing. So, up here at the top of the page, I have the personal reporting and the personal essay or the first person essay. So, this week, I would like to introduce you to some really nice writing that's written by some excellent writers, and they're talking about their personal experiences. I personally love first person essays because I love learning about people's struggles, how they survive, how they see the world. I feel like it helps me to be a better person, just to understand lots of points of view. And also, it helps me to be a better writer, just to see what other writers can do. When I read writing that I find to be really beautiful, I like to try to steal some of those techniques or some of those ideas. So, for this week, I want you to just really appreciate the writers' voices, and as you're reading, try to read out loud so you can really get a sense of the voice of the writers that you're hearing. Okay, let's look over the modules. So just a reminder, when you go into Canvas, always begin by clicking on the modules. You're always going to find your assignments in this week's modules or the modules for that particular week. And then click on the first video opening. So I'll always try to give you a little video just explaining what we're doing that week. And then when you're ready, you can just continue down the list and just make sure you read everything. Don't skip anything. I try to put everything here for a reason, not just for extra padding, but because I want it to help you with the assignments. So you'll notice that you have a few different types of assignments in the modules. So whenever you see that projector emoji, that means I've created a little video for you, a tutorial to help you understand this week's assignments. When you see the book emoji, those are going to be your reading assignments for the week. When you see the globe emoji, that's a discussion post, and I'm asking you to share with the class your thoughts on whatever topic. And when you see the stars, those are your quizzes. So this week you do have 3 quizzes, so please give yourself a little bit more time to complete those. I think, like, on average, the quizzes take between 30 minutes and an hour, just depending on how much time you want to put into them. And just remember that you have to complete, I believe, 20 questions on the quiz before it'll give you a score. So stick with it, and you can always come back to it later. You can have a score and then improve it later. Your quizzes are open until June the 5th, so they won't shut down, and you can continue working on them throughout the semester, but try to finish them each week so that they don't pile up. Okay, and then down here at the bottom, I have a writing practice for you. This is a warm-up. So I'm asking you for this to brainstorm for a topic for our first essay. So this is more like you just trying to think about all these possible topics that you'd like to write about and then narrow it down to 1 or 2. So this exercise is worth 10 points. And again, it's a very informal writing practice, but it'll help you with essay number 1. Down here at the bottom where you see my rainbow emoji, that means it's an official big assignment. So the point value here is 100. So that's our first real essay. So it's not due this Sunday, but it's due the following Sunday. So we actually have 2 weeks to work on that. So I want you to take a look at it this week, and I want you to start thinking about what you might want to write about, and then go ahead and complete the brainstorming. So we'll talk about that in more detail, and I have another video for you to take a look at that goes over that essay number 1. And then if you have any questions, of course, please let me know, and I'm happy to go over them with you or just hear your thoughts on different topics so I can help you in any way you need. Okay, let's take a look at the reading assignments for this week. So I'll click on that link. All right, here I have a list. You'll see that the list also is from, all of these are from the Norton Reader I included Frederick Douglass, even though we've technically already read that last week, just so you can go back and look at it again if you'd like to, because these are all personal essays. So once you've purchased the Norton Reader, then you can see these pages. Again, if you haven't purchased the book, you're not going to get these pages. You're just going to get like a pop-up box that asks you to purchase the book. Okay, so take a look at the page numbers. I put the page numbers here. So when you click into the Norton Reader, you can just type those page numbers into the right-hand corner. So like, for example, we'll start with Maya Angelou's Graduation on page 46. So I'm going to click on the Norton Reader link. It's going to take me back to the ebook module. And then I'll just click on like any chapter just to get into the book. Okay, so I'll just click on chapter 1 to start, Home and Family. It's going to take me to the beginning of the chapter, and then I can scroll down. And then if you want to continue navigating this way, you can click on the gray bar at the bottom to go to the next essay. We can also just go ahead and type the desired page number up here in the box. So let's try that and see where we get. Okay, so I typed in my page 46, and that took me right to Maya Angelou's Graduation. This is our first assignment for the week. So you can see that the text appears, at least on my screen, very clearly, and it's very easy to read. Now, just a reminder that as you're reading, when you're scrolling down, don't go too fast. And take some time to annotate your page. So we talked about annotations last week. If you see a sentence that stands out to you or words that you'd like to go back and look up later, you have the highlighting option. So I'm going to highlight a sentence by holding down my mouse, and then I'm going to choose a highlight color. And now I've got my highlight. If I want to also create a note, I can right click on the highlight and then click on create a note. And now I can put a note next to that highlighted portion, like if I want to do a text annotation or just remind myself what I was thinking at that time. That's kind of a nice way to keep track of your thoughts as you're reading, and then you can close the note out and go back to your text. So I like to do that just because it helps me to feel like I'm a little bit more engaged. Also, if you see any superscript, if you see any little numbers there, you could just hover your mouse over the number and it'll give you a note, maybe like a vocabulary or something that you should know. These are some details, just some context, background information that because this particular reading is taken out of a book, there are some details in there that the editors feel like you need to know because you haven't read the chapter before it, so you don't know some of these details. So that's helpful. Okay, so that's our first reading assignment for the week. Now, just remember, when you're ready to read the next one, you can just go back to our list and you can take a look at the next page, page 68, page 364. You can go back to the Norton, any of the Norton pages, and just put that page number in the upper right-hand corner. So make sure that you read carefully because I am going to ask you to do a video reflection and talk about a few of those reading assignments. So let's continue through the modules. I have a Think Aloud, and this will be due Sunday. And I'm just asking you to choose from the reading list and discuss a couple of those writing assignments that you like and talk about why you like them. You can compare and contrast. You can read a short passage. You can look at one of your favorite sentences. You can talk about any personal connections that you were able to make, or anything else that you'd like to talk about is fine. Okay, and then just looking ahead, let's take a look at just a reminder also, there are 3 quizzes for this week. So again, you have to purchase the book to do the quizzes. So it's very important that you get your code registered so that you don't fall behind on the quizzes, okay? Okay, and then at the bottom of the page, I'm going to just pop open our first essay assignment. Again, it's not due this Sunday, it's due next Sunday. But I'd like you to read this and just make sure that you understand the assignment. So some possible topics for your first essay I've listed down here at the bottom. A struggle, the first day of blank, a loss, a joyous occasion, learning that something is true or untrue, a discovery, seeing someone in a new light, etc. The best gift I ever received, an apology, a reckoning. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm asking you to write about a significant moment in your life and talk about it with your voice and talk about why it was important. And all of the readings that we're doing this week should really help you with that because those are also those types of essays. Okay, so let me stop here. I'll just pop back to the overview of the modules. So just a reminder, read all the pages in order. When you read one page, it unlocks the next page. And just another plea as you're doing your writing this week, especially as you're starting to brainstorm for topics and thinking about your essay number 1 topic, just remember that your own voice is beautiful and you don't need to rely on AI, ChatGPT, or anything else like that. Even though it seems like it's easier, it's really not good. It does not produce good writing, and it doesn't help us to really appreciate our own voices and experience. So that is an ongoing discussion that we will have. Okay, everyone, good luck this week, and please contact me if I can be of help to you. I am happy to help in any way that I can. There is no question that is too small or too big. So good luck this week. I look forward to seeing more of your writing.